My name is Sofia Zimmerman, and in this presentation, I will be discussing the behavior that is color changing. This behavior is demonstrated in a variety of different animals for a variety of purposes. On this slide, you can see just a few of the animals that can change their color. To narrow it down a bit more, I will be focusing on stoats, goldenrod crab spiders, and seahorses. Stoats, also referred to as Mustela erminia, are part of the Mustelidae family. Some other members of this family include weasels, badgers, minks, and otters. Stoats can be found in Canada and New Zealand, as well as throughout Europe and Asia. Stoats are generally seen as having a brownish or gray coat, as seen in this image. However, during the winter, the stoats shed their lightweight brown coat for a white coat.
And then a tail starts turning white, just above a black tip. The rest of her paws are next to change, along with the tips of her ears. And soon it progresses up her legs, and starts to work its way up her back. And then it envelops most of her body, apart from the black tip on the tail.
As you saw in the video, the only part of the stoat that is not white during the winter is the tip of their tail, which I will discuss in the next slide. So now that we understand how the stoats can change color, it is important to understand why they change color. The white coat is significantly thicker than their brown fur, which helps the stoats maintain their body temperature despite the cold temperatures. Another purpose that the changing of the fur color serves is that it allows the stoats to blend in with the snow during the winter. As we mentioned previously, the only part of the winter stoat that is not white is the tip of the tail. They use the tip of their tail to bait their prey into thinking that they are small food. Once the prey investigates the tail, the stoat is able to catch its prey off guard and go in for the kill. In this module, we have learned that there are many factors that can cause a behavior to happen. In this case, the stoats have genes that give them the ability to change the color of their coat, but they need help from the environment to give them the signal to shed their fur. Like most animal behaviors, this one has some benefits and some costs. As we mentioned before, two benefits of this behavior are thermoregulation and camouflage. However, a cost of this behavior is that the white, thicker coat has been sought after in the fashion industry, which has led to the hunting and killing of stoats all around the world. Another cost would be the energy it takes for the stoat to change its fur over time. It will be interesting to see if this behavior becomes maladaptive as the world begins to heat up more, or if it causes the behavior to become obsolete. The next color-changing animal we will be discussing is the goldenrod crab spider, also known as flower crab spider, with the scientific name of Misumena vitea. The name crab spider actually refers to a family of spiders and is also referred to as Thomisidae. Because the Thomisidae family includes a large range of very closely related spiders, the phrase crab spider is often used as a general name for any of the spiders within the family. Many other species of crab spiders also have the color-changing ability, but I will solely focus on the goldenrod crab spider. You can find goldenrod crab spiders in North America, Europe, and Northern Asia. An interesting distinction between this species and the other color-changing animals in this presentation is that only the females can change color. Female goldenrod crab spiders are able to change color by secreting a yellow pigment towards the surface of their skin cells. I was unable to find a video that showed the time lapse of this process, so I'll play a video of a yellow goldenrod crab spider and a white one. The only purpose that researchers have been able to find thus far of this behavior is to camouflage the spider from predators and prey. As we saw in the videos, the goldenrod crab spiders decide what color to change based on their nearby environment. This connects to a topic in the module, which is the idea that the environment, in this case white or yellow flowers, determines the physiological change, which in this case is whether the goldenrod crab spider will turn white or yellow. As we mentioned before, one of the big benefits of this behavior is the ability to camouflage. An additional benefit of this behavior is that it allows the goldenrod crab spider to have options between different color flowers in different locations. This could be useful because perhaps yellow flowers get more attraction from other bugs than white flowers, or vice versa. The only real cost of this behavior is that it costs the spider a great deal of energy to push the yellow pigment to the surface of the cells. This behavior could be considered maladaptive in an environment where there are only bright colored flowers with no yellow or white. Lastly, we will look into seahorses. There are many kinds of seahorses, but the general scientific name is hippocampus. Seahorses are part of the Cygnathidae family, which also includes pipefishes and sea dragons. Different species of seahorses can be found throughout the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, as well as the Mediterranean Sea and some European waters. In this video, we will witness the seahorse changing from white to a darker color. The color-changing behavior in seahorses is caused by a physiological mechanism that they possess, which allows them to change to a large variety of colors in a relatively short amount of time. Additionally, they can control the brightness, or what's called the luminance, of their exterior. They're able to change color because they have special cells called chromatophores. These chromatophores come in a few different pigments. Then the seahorse is able to stack them to create whatever color they need. In a way, it's kind of like how a painter might start out with the primary colors and combine them to make purple, green, orange, and pretty much every other color. They can change the luminance of colors because they have muscles that push these specialized cells closer to the surface of the skin, causing the color to look more brighter. Similarly to our past examples, seahorses can exhibit this behavior when they're trying to hide from predators or from prey. However, this is not their main purpose for having the color-changing ability. Seahorses use this behavior for communication and mating purposes. Depending on the situation, the color change might take longer or shorter. For example, the seahorse might take a longer time to change during mating season compared to a seahorse that needs to blend into its surrounding environment to survive. The color-changing behavior in seahorses connects to the physiological mechanism theme in this module. As we have discussed, the physiological mechanism that allows for this behavior, in this case, are the chromatophores. To recap, the benefits of this behavior are communication, camouflage, and mating success. Some of the costs associated with the seahorse's ability to change color could be energy expenditure, as well as drawing attention to predators. Although the seahorse can use this behavior to camouflage itself, the color changing might attract predators when the seahorses are trying to mate or communicate with one another. In this case, I do not see a situation in which this behavior would be maladaptive for seahorses. Now, let's recap what we have learned from this presentation. Number 1, how and why a behavior occurs for one animal may be different for another. Just because animals from different taxa may share the same behaviors, it does not mean that they function the same way or occur for the same reasons. Number 2, sometimes for a behavior to be expressed, the genes of the animal and the environment have to work together. We saw this with the stoats and the changing of the seasons. Number 3, sometimes the environment dictates how the behavior will be expressed. We saw this with the goldenrod crab spiders and whether they turn yellow or white based on the flowers nearby. And number 4, a behavior may be expressed for multiple reasons, but can still come from the same physiological mechanism. We saw this with the seahorses, as they were able to change color through chromatophores, but use this behavior for various purposes. Thank you for listening, and the last slide has all my sources.